Inflation. Goods and services. Reduce. Purchasing power. Factor. Production costs. Moderate. Instability. Rapidly. Afford. Interest rate adjustments. Inflation is the rise in the general price level of goods and services over time. As inflation increases, each unit of currency buys fewer goods and services, reducing purchasing power. Inflation can be caused by factors such as increased demand for goods, higher production costs, or a growing money supply. Moderate inflation is considered normal in a growing economy, but if inflation rises too quickly, it can lead to economic instability. High inflation can cause the cost of living to rise rapidly, affecting consumers' ability to afford essential goods. Central banks typically use tools like interest rate adjustments to control inflation and keep it within a target range to maintain economic stability. Deflation. Opposite. Beneficial. In the short term. Result in revenue, wage, unemployment. Loop. Where plus. Further. Reduction. Borrow. Repay loans. Prevent. Engage in. Policy. Stimulate. Deflation is the opposite of inflation. It is the decrease in the general price level of goods and services. While deflation may seem beneficial to consumers in the short term, it can lead to economic problems. Falling prices can result in reduced business revenues, leading to lower wages, unemployment, and a decrease in consumer spending. This creates a negative feedback loop where decreased demand causes further price reductions. Deflation can also increase the real value of debt, making it harder for borrowers to repay loans. To prevent deflation, central banks may lower interest rates or engage in policies that stimulate spending and investment. Categorize. Demand pull inflation. Cost push inflation. Exceed. On the other hand. Wage. Raw materials. Price hikes. In circulation. Monitor. Closely. Maintain. Inflation can be caused by several factors, often categorized as demand pull and cost push inflation. Demand pull inflation occurs when there is an increase in consumer demand for goods and services, which exceed supply. This increased demand pushes prices higher. Cost push inflation, on the other hand, happens when production costs rise, such as when wages increase or the cost of raw materials rises. Businesses often pass these higher costs onto consumers through price hikes. Additionally, inflation can also be caused by an increase in the money supply, where more money in circulation reduces the currency's value. Central banks monitor these factors closely to control inflation and maintain price stability. Erode. The value of savings. Purchasing power. Per year. A savings account. In real terms. Unless. Asset. Outpace. Stock. Real estate. Historically. Returns. Exceed. Uncertainty. Interest rates. Affordability. Loans. Mortgages. Inflation can erode the value of savings by reducing their purchasing power over time. For example, If inflation is 3% per year, a savings account earning 1% interest will lose purchasing power in real terms. This means that the real value of money saved decreases unless it is invested in assets that outpace inflation. Many investors turn to stocks, real estate, and other assets that have historically provided returns that exceed inflation. However, inflation also creates uncertainty, making long-term planning more difficult. It can lead to higher interest rates, which may affect the affordability of loans and mortgages, reducing consumer spending and business investment. Hyperinflation. Extreme form. Occur. Excessive amounts of. A loss of confidence. Become more concerned about. Further. Devastate. Wipe out. Drastic reforms. Restore. Hyperinflation is an extreme form of inflation where prices increase uncontrollably, often by more than 50% per month. It occurs when a country's government prints excessive amounts of money, leading to a loss of confidence in the currency. As people become more concerned about the value of money, they begin spending it quickly, further driving up prices. Hyperinflation can devastate economies by wiping out savings, causing shortages of goods, and leading to social and political instability. Historical examples of hyperinflation include Zimbabwe in the late 2000s and Germany in the 1920s. Countries facing hyperinflation often have to implement drastic economic reforms to restore stability.